Do you know, give or take, how far you are behind on the payments on that?
Well, I just told you it's a home equity line of credit, so they want the full
I
balance.
understand.
It's not like
I
they would
understand.
accept a partial payment.
Today we're going to listen to a call with a seller that was in pre-foreclosure. I happened to make a few cold calls. This was my very first cold call of the day, and it was interesting. This seller had been contacted in multiple different ways. He made it very clear that people were approaching him, door knocking him, leaving sticky notes on the house. He felt really disrespected by that, and that was an invasion of his space. That's why it's so important to market to these sellers in different channels, whether it be cold calling or door knocking or direct mail. Each person's going to respond to marketing in different ways. That's why you want to hit them in different ways. That way, one of those channels will resonate with them, and hopefully you'll set an appointment. So watch this call, take notes, and leave a comment of your biggest takeaway from the call.
It expired in March, about a year ago, I think.
Okay.
And I am a practicing attorney.
Okay.
And I have bills outstanding to clients, but the clients haven't paid the bills. The bills would be enough to pay
I see.
home equity line of credit. But the clients aren't paying at this point. And so I have the option of suing them.
Okay.
Or continuing to push them for payment. And, suing them doesn't mean I'm going to get paid quickly either.
Right.
At least, that is an option out there. So the insurance company gave me some extra time to accomplish that. But the client, the one in particular that I'm talking about, said to me I guess it was earlier this month, saying, well, yeah, I said I was going to pay that, but I'm not prepared to do that at this time. So you'll have to continue to pursue payment from the entity that legally owes me the money. The former owner of the business had promised he would take care of this, but he didn't.
Right.
So
would your lender be opening to renewing the term, do you think?
I don't think they would be unless I brought it almost completely current. I'm sure there would be a number that would be low enough that they'd be willing to do it.
Because do you know how far you are?
The balance is about $230,000.
Okay.
Well, that was before they stopped taking payments on interest, so it might be up to $240 by now.
Okay.
The house was appraised by the county in 2023 at being worth $660,000, I think, something like in that neighborhood.
Yeah, because you've got quite a bit of land out there, don't you?
I do. I own a total of 20 acres, and his appraisal was for the front 7 acres and the house, and then on that same property, 2 40 by 6 foot sheds, machine sheds, more than buildings, basically.
Okay. And then I know you got the equity line there. They're wanting to call it due. Do you know, give or take, how far you are behind on the payments on that?
Well, I just told you it's a home equity line of credit, so they want the full balance.
I understand.
It's not like they would accept a partial payment. In fact, they won't. I've given them payments. I think the last was probably about October, where I gave them the full amount of the interest, and they returned it to me.
Okay, gotcha.
It's a corporate decision. So that's why I think they're terribly likely to want to refinance with them. So.
Okay. Well, that kind of rules out the second option. Second option was going to be a loan modification, but it sounds like they're calling it due, so that's not really an option. Third option is my least favorite, but it's effective, being that you're an attorney. You would know you can file Chapter 13 and stop the sale, buy you some time. I don't know if you've thought about that at all.
I'm sorry, by use of a what plan? Is that what
a Chapter 13 bankruptcy.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But I didn't hear the word that you used at the end of your sentence. Your voice kind of trailed off.
Oh, I'm sorry. If you filed that, it would stop the sale and it would buy you some time, and hopefully, hopefully during that time, some of your clients would do what's right and get you some money for your services. But obviously, that stays on your record for a long, long time, 7-8 years. So I don't like the option, but if you need a Hail Mary to stop the sale, that would do it.
Right.
Okay.
I am aware of that option.
Right.
Not something I terribly want to do. Another option that is that I've talked to my ex-wife, who
Mm-hmm.
has most of my money,
Mm-hmm.
and had invited her to this. This property, as I mentioned, is 21 acres,
Yeah.
and we built the house 34 years ago, and
Okay.
I know it well. And we would like to keep it in the family if possible.
Of course.
I think my ex-wife is a little bit on the vindictive side, though, and when I broached the possibility with her, she didn't quite use the words I'm about to use, but she basically said, "Oh, I'll just buy it out of bankruptcy. We'll keep the house. Don't worry about that."
Yeah.
But she's kind of got an attitude of kicking me out. And
Wow. I see.
whatever equity I have. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
it was kind of a
Yeah.
divorce.
No, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry.
Well,
It's life. It's life. So that is the bankruptcy is an option. You can pursue that up until, a few minutes before the foreclosure sale if you wanted to. So there's time on that. So fourth option, you've mentioned it before, cash sale. Obviously, you want to keep it within the family. So we've done this a few times. So I'm just going to spitball some ideas with you. We have many, many times bought a property. The homeowner wanted to stay there. They've gone through whatever situation. It's just a tough time. And then once they got qualified for a loan, sold it back for a reasonable profit. We're actually closing on one. We had a townhome over in Lee's Summit, and the guy stayed there and rented from us the whole time, and we got him paired with our lender, and he ended up getting approved, and we are going to sell that back to him here. The beginning of March. So we do that pretty regularly. So that's an option, at least, to where you wouldn't have to leave the home, and we could get you paired with our lender who has approved the unapprovable. Not that your credit's really bad or anything, but she's helped some people that, probably shouldn't be getting loans, get loans over the years. And I imagine that given your standing as an attorney, it probably wouldn't be too difficult over a year, 18 months, to get back in that spot. So that's definitely an option. So, and then the last option, I don't know if the lender would agree to it because they're trying to call it due, but it's worth a conversation with them. It's called subject to. I don't know if you've heard of that term, but basically it's a fancy way of saying that I could bring a loan current, pay the past due. Again, this is all subject to them even allowing that. But we would bring it current. We would take ownership of the property, and you could stay there as a tenant. And at the closing, we could potentially get you, a good amount of cash. And then down the line, if you wanted to buy it back, you could. Or if you just decided, I want to rinse my hands of this place, sell it, then we could come up with some type of partnership agreement on the remaining equity of the house. And of course, that would require another conversation and a lot of details, but I just wanted to give you a ring, let you know that you had some options, and you have an investor. Yeah.
Go ahead. Finish your sentence, please.
But most of those investors, they're gonna lowball you to death. And of course, I want to make money. I'm an investor, but at the same time, I want you to win as well. And there's creative ways that we could keep you in the house so life doesn't change, and then potentially have you buy it back. But real estate's fun because it's creative, so we could do a whole bunch of different things. And I just wanted to give you a ring. Got a couple weeks here, so plenty of time, but didn't want it to be a 911 at the end there.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate your call, and if I would like to get your contact information via text or email or something.
Happy to do that.
And we can go from there. As I said, I've gotten at least 5 different post-it notes.
Yeah, I imagine.
I don't really appreciate people doing that.
Yeah.
I'm in the book. It's not hard to find me.
Right. Well, how about this? I will send you my contact information. I'll shoot you a text with my company name, and email as well. And then would you want to connect sometime next week, or what would you like my next step to be? I don't want to be intrusive.
Yeah, we can connect this coming week. That would be fine. I mean, I know since I built this house, I'm not going to bore you with details, but when I general contracted it, I bought the land, I general contracted the house. I've been in charge of the repairs and dealing with the contractors. I had a guy put in a ground source heat pump system. I've got solar panels out back, etc. So I know a lot about this place, and I would really prefer some way to keep it in the family. And
Yeah.
I'm just frustrated with my client, and of course I have confidentiality concerns about that.
Of course.
All I can realistically tell you is they've horsed me around, and there's some concern that the corporate entity might go belly up as well. And that's where the prior owner comes in, because he has an indemnity obligation to me anyway. And so
Right.
anyway, the bottom line is I'd like to push on that and get that resolved. But as I said, I recently got word that he was not going to voluntarily do that. I don't think that means he won't ultimately do it, but
Yeah.
he was pushing me to go back against the corporate entity. And he may frankly have some influence, some idea of trying to push the new owner into bankruptcy himself. So he's got his own agenda going on there.
Right.
That is not part of mine. I don't care.
Yeah.
I just stay in business, but anyway, not my concern anymore.
Yeah.
I appreciate very much you sent me something, and yeah, we could talk sometime. I'd say later in the week.
Okay.
I've got a brief due in the federal court in Kansas, and it's turning into a bigger, more complicated issue than I thought it was when I started working on it. So I'm trying to focus my attention on that.
Very
Stay
good.
focused.
Well, how about this? I'll probably shoot you a text if that's all right, maybe on Thursday or something like that, and just kind of see where you're at with things.
Okay, but you're not going to wait to send me your contact information before
No,
that, right?
I'll send that right away.
Okay, that'll work just fine.
All right.
I'm glad you called.
Yeah, I'm glad we got to connect,
Hang on my
and
door leave me notes.
yeah. Well, good deal. Well, I will. I'll let you get back to your Saturday here, but I'll shoot you a text here in just a second.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye now.
Goodbye.
So I decided to cold call some leads. That was my first call. Number one. It was on True People Search, the first number. You heard what he said. A lot of people have been coming by the house. They're leaving stuff in his mailbox. They're leaving sticky notes on the door. Do those work? Absolutely. Have I made millions of dollars from doing that? Of course I have. But you can tell that he appreciated that I didn't just show up at his house. I took the time to call him on the phone. He said, yep, I'm an open book. I'm easy to find online. So guys, when you're thinking about contacting the sellers, does every marketing source work? Absolutely. But think about what everyone else is doing. They're texting, they're leaving notes on the door, they're doing all the things that everyone else is doing. Do the things that are a little bit more difficult. I know it's a little bit scary to get on the phone, but you can tell that he appreciated that. So again, do the hard things, be where other people aren't, and you will set appointments and you will get contracts and pre-foreclosures. Hopefully this is helpful.